Okay. I'm here. So, let me know when the sound isn't terrible. I feel like right now we're in a good run. So I just started talking now. I feel like right now we're in a good run. So I just started talking now. Let's move on to other things. Are we ready to start talking? Okay. I feel like right now we're in a good run. So I just started talking now. I turned everything down. Let's move on to other things. Are we ready to start talking? Started talking now. I turned everything down. Let's move on to other things. Started talking now. I turned everything down. Let's move on to other things. Started talking now. Let's move on to other things. Started talking now. Let's move on to other things. Started talking now. Let's move on to other things. Started talking now. Let's move on to other things. Started talking now. Let's move on to other things. Started talking now. Let's move on change anything? I don't have the sound on for sure. We hear you, but the static is still there. That's upsetting. How about now? How about now? Yes, keep. Yes, that help. Yes. No change. You can hear me? Okay, let us attempt. I'm just hoping that is what needed to happen. Okay, so we are going to start with early exploration and colonization. Early exploration and colonization. When I say early exploration and colonization, really I'm referring to European. We're really sticking with European style. Can you guys name the three? Let's talk about maybe the 4 major countries that we have referred to when it comes to this topic specifically. There's 4 major countries that we refer to when we do this. Okay, the French, the Spanish, and the English. There's one more country. Can anybody else think of the other country? We have France, Spain, England, and the last one. Can you guys think of the last one? Oh, and the Dutch. There you go. Specifically the Netherlands. They're referred to as the Dutch. Okay. So why did the French, tell me some characteristics of French colonization. How did the French relate to Native Americans? What economically did they get into? French fancy furs, French friendly furs. So how did they treat the Native Americans? They were friendly to the natives, and they got involved in the fur trade. They primarily settle in the Ohio River Valley. The French were nice to the Indians. Very true. Very true. What about the Spanish? Tell me a little bit about the Spanish. Tell me a little bit about the Spanish. What did the Spanish do? Spain was mean. They wanted to spread Christianity specifically. What did we call the way that they enslaved Indians? That's one question. What do we call the way that they enslaved Native Americans using these systems? And then what type of Christianity did they specifically wanted to spread? They did want gold. They wanted to find gold. What was that system called? They wanted to spread Catholicism. So they set up missions. And then they had a system in which it was basically a form of slavery for Native Americans. Starts with an E. Does anybody remember it? E. And giving you the first part of the word. And 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 encomienda. You guys remember the encomienda system? Ooh, good question. Ethan just asked, how do we get a point for our team? Well, first of all, I need you to write your team and your class period. And you have to be participating in the discussion. You have to be participating in the discussion in order to get points for your team. The encomienda system. Oh, I see Dylan was here, but I don't have a Harrison Lovelace. Hey, Raisin. Okay. I don't have a Harrison Lovelace. You should shut out the name if who says the right answer. The problem is if I don't know who you are because your name is not one that I recognize, and you can either say that you're from a different class and tell me your first name, or you can just tell me your actual name. Good. The reason that the English come over for glory, God, and gold, and the Virginia Company. But they really went for glory. God in terms of religious freedom. And gold, yes, they wanted to find riches, but they didn't find gold, they found raw materials. But they did all of this for the Virginia Company. Steven, do I have you in class? Raylan, I don't know why I called you Raisin. I did call you that a second ago. Oh no, dinner's ready. I bet Harrison is Jack too, but he hasn't given me a sure answer one way or the other. Jacob Martin. Oh, look at Toad. Look at that. Team Toad is just... It's stacking up here. Jacob. It's Toad. Toad. Alright. Way to go, Team Toad. They asked me to make colonies. They asked to make colonies. Who asked to make colonies? Domination for Toad. Yes, it is. The Dutch. So the Dutch come over. Can somebody tell me how the Dutch got gypped by the Native Americans? Does anybody remember this story? It's one of Miss Puckett's favorite stories. The Dutch got their land from the natives. They get their land from Native Americans, but it's probably okay, Reggie is Pandalar, okay. Okay. So for the Dutch, does anybody remember why they get this land? They originally settle in the the Dutch go to the island of Manhattan and they see these Native Americans kind of on this like edge of the water. Here's the water over here. And the Indians are kind of hanging out over here, just like, chilling. They're hanging out over here, just chilling. And then they're hanging out over here. This is the Native Americans just chilling. Well, the Dutch come over, and the Dutch say, oh, hey, guys. The Dutch come over, and they ask the Native Americans if they want to sell their land. Very good, Hannah. They offered to buy the land from a nomadic tribe that didn't even own it. It was amazing. The Dutch come in and attempt to barter with the Indians. The Indians say, yeah, sure, we'll sell you this land. The land wasn't even theirs. It was a nomadic tribe who was traveling, and it was amazing. Volcano eruption, I don't know who you are, so you say, hi, Miss Bucket, and I don't know what that means. Alright, so those are kind of, and eventually the Dutch settled. What is the area that the Dutch settled? What is it eventually is called? Alright, hey, Corey. Figured that. Steven, I'll get there. What did the land that the Dutch settled, what did it eventually become? It was originally called the New Netherlands. In fact, they had to build, very good, New York. It becomes New York. That's how we got the founding of New York. The city of Wall Street was actually built. It was actually a wall that was built to keep Indians out. Checking in people who... Okay, Reggie is here. Aiden. Oh, and it was also called New Amsterdam. I like that, Steven. Good job. Corey is here. Look at people getting points for their teams. Showing up. Okay. Now, the next thing we're going to do, I tried to look at kind of a list of topics that we're going to be covering today. This was kind of our starter topic. The next we're going to be talking about the New England teams. Mia, you are on Peach, Team Peach. Dutch for hills or land or something. Yes. Manhattan was Dutch for island, or was Native American for island of many hills. They called it Manhattan. Okay. Next up. All right. Next, we're going to look at the colony of New England. So I'm going to move this. All right. So we're looking at New England. Okay, so we're going to look at first political, social, and economic issues. And then we're going to talk about the founding of kind of what I would consider the big three of New England. All right. Okay. So, can somebody tell me, there's no switching teams, Reggie. No switching teams. And actually, not Reggie. Reggie didn't want to switch teams. Raylan, you cannot join a team. All right. Let us see. Give me some political stuff that we know about the colonies in New England, or social or economic. Just tell me what you think. That is true. That is true, Reggie. This bucket is in another castle. Give me some political, social, or economic aspects about New England. Political, there's no slavery. Ooh, I like that. There's no slavery. I'm not going to say equal rights, but I am going to say religious beliefs. Because equal implies for everyone, and that wasn't exactly the case. There was a lot of kind of thoughts about religious freedom, but there is one colony that really struggles with the idea of having religious freedom. There's a lot of religious discrimination, that is true. Which is ironic because these colonies are originally founded for freedom from religious discrimination. freedom from self-government. Self-government. I like that we added that. The solution. Okay, economics. Ooh, I see shipbuilding and trade. I should see more, though. There's more facts about this. Shipbuilding, trade, what else? It can count as social, too. Shipbuilding, trade, fishing. Not exactly mining just yet. Whaling! Oh, you guys picked my favorite one, because Miss Bucket hates whales. I don't really hate whales, but you know, I just have an irrational fear of them. Ooh, I like that I see salutary neglect. That's gonna go up here. Okay, so the New England colonies, yeah, Car's not here, otherwise she would have something to say about my hatred of whales. Okay, so when we're kind of looking at the coastal United States, the New England colonies are generally located up in this region. Again, clearly an excellent drawing of the New England region, but there you go. All right, so we have the New England region, and then what I want us to look at is we have this New England region. My nose is itchy. I'm sorry. Up in here with the Crayola markers, you don't even know, bro. Like, look how many markers I have. You don't even know the colors and all the things. Ooh. Oh no, now I'm messing everything up. Ah! Everything was perfect and now it's terrible. It's fine. I had to show off. Okay. Ooh. Okay. That's what I get. That is a lot of markers. It's pretty much fun. Man, I can never type fast enough, so I guess. I do have scented ones. I don't know exactly what they smell like. My nose is like itchy like crazy and kind of runny. Also, I took a nap this afternoon. It was fantastic. So New England colonies. We're going to start with basically my version of Massachusetts. Okay, it basically looks like kind of like the sad top part of today I am just doing Stephen, today I'm just doing early colonization and early colonization and exploration and New England, Middle, and Southern colonies. On Wednesday, I'll be touching on the American Revolution. Today is just early colonization stuff. And I'll also be talking about mercantilism and transatlantic trade. Okay, so we have Massachusetts here. So this is Massachusetts. And Massachusetts was originally founded. There's a place called the Massachusetts Bay Colony. And let me just double check. So I don't want to get this confused with where the Plymouth Colony is located. Massachusetts Bay. Ooh, that's what I want. This one. Okay, so basically the Massachusetts Bay Colony, which eventually becomes Boston, is like right here. It basically looks like the eye of so okay, Rick Nielsen, the first piece of homework I didn't turn in, but Aiden, you remembered it. And it was actually the second piece of homework you didn't turn in. Hannah, this is going to go until 8 o'clock. Okay, so we have Massachusetts, this Massachusetts Bay Colony right here. So it was founded by the Puritans. This is the... And it is founded by Puritans. Now, when the Puritans come,
The Puritans have very strong feelings about a lot of different things. And they really super don't want you to disagree with them. Aiden the First was actually a thing on, it had to do with colonization and exploration. It's a reading I put together. I'm a loner tonight, no dinner with the fam. I get the cold stuff. So true. It was founded for religious persecution. The Puritans! Yes, the Puritans. The Puritans are the founders of this. Now, the book and language arts class are so rude and set them with their ways. Ooh, what book or language arts class? There's so many books about the Puritan era. It was like a big time of writing. Now, with the Puritans, kind of coming back full circle here, what did they believe about government? This is just gonna get us through, Stephen. This is just gonna get us through. The word that I'm looking for is. This is gonna get us through Reconstruction. I'm gonna have a lot of different ones, but I'm prepping my kids for their STAAR test, which is coming up. They didn't like slavery. That's true. They're anti-slavery. The Puritans are anti-slavery, which is a good part of them. But one of the things that was a little like, when I say a little bit, I mean kind of aggressively so. They don't like people who think differently than them. And so when it came down to it, if you wanted to vote, if you wanted, oh my goodness, Reggie, you just made me really happy. Oh my gosh, that's so fantastic. Take a look at the coconuts, the trunks and the leaves. The colonies give us what we need. Oh, mercantilism. Oh, the Moana of it. I'm sorry, Reggie, you're getting me off task with your excellent parody. Um, so moving on, the check thing. This is for voting. If you paid taxes, the political leader of the colony was also the political leader of the colony, and I don't know what that makes it that a political leader. Caleb's adding to it, and no one leaves. Oh, but they do leave. You guys are getting me. You're making the parodies in my head jump around. I'll let you know what I come up with. Taxes, leaders. If you wanted to vote, if you wanted to, when you paid taxes, the head of the community was also head of the church. All of this, you had to be a part of the Puritan church. And if you weren't, in order to vote, you had to be a part of the church. Your taxes went to the church. Your leader was not only leader of your government, but also leader of the church. And for some people, this is a problem. For some people, this is a problem. Some people are going to say there should be a separation between church and state. Because this did lead to some corruption. The leader of this colony was John Winthrop. Now, from the Massachusetts Bay Colony, we're going to have the founding of two other very good. Guys, I'm liking when I see this. Like I'm being on a team, Team Salt. Look at you. Okay. Okay. Look at you, Aiden, doing the things. Okay. So we're gonna have this colony down here. So this is basically this is going to be Connecticut, and then next to it, this is my very like vague, not true to form drawing of what Rhode Island looks like, or just kind of like at least vaguely where it's located. This is R.I. That's Rhode Island. So the first person that leaves, and no one leaves, oh wait, he did. He left and went to Connecticut. He arrived, wrote the fundamental orders, and there you are. Kind of. And I'll stay in the church with my people, and I think tomorrow I can. Oh my gosh, you guys are like killing this. Like I just cannot. Fun fact. That is a fun fact. Human. Okay. So Thomas Hooker leaves, and he leaves, but he kind of leaves on his own volition. He doesn't get kicked out. What are these cool songs? I know. He doesn't get kicked out. He just respectfully kind of leaves and establishes Connecticut, where there's a separation of church and state. He establishes a little bit more political freedom. Specifically, he creates a place where non-church members can vote. He expands suffrage. And he actually writes the first constitution in America. And it is called the Fundamental Orders of Connecticut. Connect. I cut, otherwise known as the FOC. The FOC. Okay, guys. I don't know who that is. Trailer GB. But these are cool songs. We're not singing AC/DC. We're sticking with Moana parodies. If you want to keep my interest, we're sticking with Moana. Okay. So, hi Hannah's sister. Hope you're having a great evening. Okay. So then we have the next people that leave is going to be the Massachusetts Bay Colony. They get kicked out, actually. We're going to have two people that get kicked out, and it is rage. The people that get kicked out are Roger Williams and a woman. Can you guys remember the woman that gets kicked out? No, I'm not talking about immigration. At least not in terms of historical placement, no. Okay, Roger Williams, who else gets kicked out of the Massachusetts Bay Colony? And actually, she gets kicked out for having the audacity to say that she can converse. She believes that God has been, she has these like Bible studies at her house, and she believes God is speaking to her. And John Winthrop is like, lady, I don't think you know this, but you're a woman. God doesn't speak to women. So, Roger Williams and this woman, do you guys remember what this woman's name is? You have the R, Rhode Island, and I always told you to remember R for Roger, and then H for this person's name. They said she's a witch. They do. It's really funny. I say it's funny. It's not funny, but like it's a little bit funny. It's funny in the fact that like this is how far we've come, so it's great. Her name was Anne Hutchinson. I always like that it's Anne Hutchinson. And Anne Hutchinson and Roger Williams get kicked out or vanished. And they established Rhode Island. What is the capital of Rhode Island? Wow. Whoa. Reggie, I just take the FOC and Mr. Hooker, and no one knows how much he knows. Make a change and alter, made a change and an alter to the colonies. A great man we know, and he is known. I am Moana. That was really great. But Reggie, I don't even care. That was fantastic. Oh, that's wonderful. I love it. Okay, he's kicked out or banished. Do you guys remember what the capital of Rhode Island is called? Capital of Rhode Island. Capital of Rhode Island is what? Anybody? The capital of Rhode Island is a place called Providence. What is the significance about the name Providence? What is significant about the name Providence? What does the name Providence mean? What does the name Providence mean? What does the name Providence mean? Oh, Stephen, I teach in Texas. Um, Anybody have any idea what the word Providence means? Providence means in the shelter of God's care. Providence means in the shelter of God's care. And basically they call it that because they needed protection, or like in the shelter or under the protection. Um, Basically they felt like they needed protection from John Winthrop and the Puritans. So they wanted to feel protected, so that's why they created Rhode Island as a haven. They create separation between church and state at Rhode Island. In Connecticut, we're going to allow non-church members to vote. Because some people, whoever is pretending to be Coach Loveless, first of all, I'm going to put you in timeout until you change your name. And secondly, this is open to anybody who wants to join. So, you know, I told you, Miss Puckett is a very specific kind of famous. All right, so I'm going to change. We're going to make a change from here. Real quick, before we move on, economics. Can you guys tell me about the geography of the New England colonies? They have thin, rocky soil. Tell me about their climate, maybe. Oh, Dylan, I'll get you some Mario points. They have that rocky soil, but what's their weather like? Short growing season, very good. It's cold, cold climate, harsh winters. Raylan, he's on Team Mario for the next few weeks as we prep for STAAR. Hashtag Puckett's Room is like Nintendo. It's a really bad hashtag, so let's put a pin in that and come up with a better hashtag. Thank you, Dylan, for all of your excellent knowledge about that. We're moving on to the middle colonies. We're going to move on to the middle colonies. Okay, as we talk about the middle colonies, I feel like we can't talk about them without first addressing their nickname. What is their nickname? Nintendo with Puckett. That's better. I like that. Little League Wabasaki. Okay, very good. Thank you. You guys are making me laugh really hard tonight. It's kind of a joyful thing reading those comments. They are nicknamed the Breadbasket Colonies. I'm gonna draw a really terrible breadbasket. Breadbasket Colonies. Alright, so the nickname is Breadbasket. Guys, I know, again, Miss Puckett is an excellent artist that we all wish we had. We have the Breadbasket Colonies. The funny thing is, I don't even realize I'm doing sound effects, so it does make me laugh. And you guys are like, you did sound effects. I'm like, did I? Actually, I forget. Tell me about... We need to do pegs for this. That's what I need to do. I need to write down pegs. P-E-G-S. Give me political, economic, geographic, and social aspects. They had fertile soil and decent climate changes. Moderate climate, if you will. Very good, Steven. Guys, I'm liking what I see here. You're doing well. You're doing well. Political, economic, geographic, and social. Give me some political, economic, or social aspects. They were like, man, we want what you want. 2 miles, I hate filling out those pegs charts. Oh, that's from so long ago. They don't really grow tobacco. Don't exactly grow tobacco. But economically, we're gonna say, their crops, they had cash crops, but they were primarily wheat, barley, any kind of grain, really. All right. To make bread. Ooh, I like to use rye. I left rye out there, Reggie. You got me. Okay. Political. P is for political. Give me a little bit about politically. How are they set up? Politically, how are they set up? Or really, specifically, we look at when we're talking about the middle colonies. The middle colonies include New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, and I think like I'm gonna be wrong, but I want to say Delaware. I think it's DE. I could be wrong though. I'm gonna scratch out Delaware because I'm not sure. If anyone want to look that up for me, I'd appreciate it. Jack, it's good to have you back. Politically, it's not that they were agrarian. That would be economically they were agrarian. Pennsylvania. We did miss you, Mia. Tell me a little bit about Pennsylvania. What do we know about them politically? What were they for? What were they against? What did they believe about people? Socially, they were Quakers. This is where the Quakers were. Tell me why were the Quakers significant? Okay, now we're getting somewhere. And guys, we're gonna hit on a lot of the political, social. Oh, not James Penn. That's upsetting. Yes, good. You got me, Acadia. Acadia, can you tell me if there's any other colonies that I missed? The Quakers, they were pacifists, which means anti-war. They were also anti-what? William Penn. Very good. William Penn is the leader of this group. He was on one of the activities you guys did today in class, if you remember. He was also anti-slavery. And guys, when we talk about the roots of abolition, that is a term. Oh, yes, thank you, Acadia. Anti-slavery. They kind of started this idea of being anti-slavery. They were one of the first groups to openly speak out against slavery. And one of the things that Texas requires that you guys know is the roots of the abolitionist movement. Dylan, stop with the Stalin quotes. Anti-slavery is going to refer to those roots of the abolitionist movement. Abolition, remember, is the goal to like get rid of slavery. Okay, they're pacifists, they're anti-slavery. They also believed in just general equality. In fact, they were super big on like, what's the word that I'm looking for? They were big on the fact that like men and women were equal. In fact, they're going to name Philadelphia the city of brotherly love. City of bro love. Look at that. Those abolitionists root for the abolition of slavery. Yeah, they do. So when we look at the P for political, we're going to say Quakers are going to kind of lead this. They're going to be anti-war, anti-slavery. Politically, there's not specifically a whole lot that you need to know about that. New York, like I told you guys, was originally called New Amsterdam. It was originally called the New Netherlands. Well, I think New Jersey was called New Amsterdam. Whatever it may be. Eventually, New York was sold to like the Duke of York, and England got control of New York. And that's kind of where the Dutch stepped out. Where colonies are also the distribution center for mercantilism. That's very true. PEG stands for political, economic, geographic, and social qualities. And for the most part, whenever you're learning about the colonies, it's important that you kind of establish PEGs. Pennsylvania, just so we're kind of clear. Stephen, if you live in New York, I want to apologize for the fact that we here in Texas don't usually look up at the top of the map very often, so my students don't exactly know what other states look like or where they're located up there. New York was more like New Amsterdam. Okay, New York City. That's right. It was New York. I had to do a project on it. Okay. Thank you, Dylan, for letting me know. I think New York City was New Amsterdam, and the whole New York was called the New Netherlands. And that's why it was named New York, New York City. This is what Pennsylvania looked like. And it's actually going to be established on there's like a grid system that they established, which was like, nobody understood like what was going on. Everyone's like, what? This is grid? Like, the idea of having a city on like a grid plan was just like mind-blowing to people. They were like, this is crazy right here. Can you guys, real quick before we move on, can you guys start listing some important things that happened in Philadelphia or some important people that were from Philadelphia? Very cool, Stephen. We are from Texas, and I'm an 8th grade U.S. history teacher, so good to meet you, sir. Can you guys tell me some important events that happen in Pennsylvania, specifically Philadelphia is really where we're talking. Anybody got anything for me? Text more like Aunt Peggy. Dylan. That was a good joke. Aunt Peggy. Oh. The middle colonies. Da, 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 da. Oh, guys, you're weirdly quiet. Come on, anybody got anything? Things that happened in Philadelphia. In West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground. Oh, very good. Here's a 10%. Run, plug it in. Good, got a charger. We have the Continental Congress. Guys, I know it's a weird but true story, but there are people who aren't my students that follow my YouTube channel, and specifically there are people who aren't my students who watch my live stream, so there you go. We do have the Continental Congresses. All the Continental Congresses take place here. Also, the Constitutional Convention. Constitutional Convention takes place there. What can you guys tell me about? There was a very famous diplomat / inventor / scientist / politician who was from this area. Ooh, Declaration of Independence was signed here at Independence Hall. Very good. I do think they created the Articles of Confederation here, but that's not very good, Raylan. Benjamin Franklin. Ben Franklin was a delegate from here. So, good things to know. Okay. So, middle colonies, focus on breadbasket, focus on the Quakers. The Quakers should kind of be the heart of what you remember about the middle colonies. All right, lastly, the southern colonies. Oh my gosh. I can tell my allergies are kicking in because right now the roof of my mouth itches. Franklin also wrote a book about farts. So Franklin actually did write a book about farts. Psych, not great. What? All right. Southern colonies. All right. All right, the southern colonies. Okay, well, first of all, guys, I'm going to write out pegs, and then you get to tell me things. You have to tell me if it's political, economic, geographic, or social. And guys, let me do this. Let's just move over there. And this includes, okay, it's going to start with Maryland, Virginia. Well, Virginia is North Carolina, then South Carolina. I don't know why I'm putting dots there and not there. North Carolina. Oh, that's what I have dots. I don't know what I'm doing. Anyways, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. Oh, whoa, guys, you were just killing this. Y'all, this is insane. Okay, so first of all, Raylan, I give you points. You're going to be Team Wario. Team Wario is you. Oh. Okay, so, I'm seeing mostly that you guys were talking about the geography. So I see fertile soil, and decent growing season. And they have a long growing season. Very good. Ooh, states' rights. They're going to be big onto states' rights. They're not exactly. I'm not going to write that yet because that's not an issue. But eventually, the South is going to be big. States' rights, slavery, agriculture, agrarian. Guys, I love it when you use that term. Hot and humid inhabitants. Who are crazy? Okay, economics, I'm seeing agrarian. A lot of things happening. Virginia had a lot of representation. They had a representative government. Economics, farming, agriculture. That's why we said agrarian. Economics is going to be what do we call the mass production of crops? I guess I'm saying, and it's not cropping, even though I feel like that's something you guys said a lot. It was like concerning to me. Socially, they also do have slavery, use it as a labor force. Washington is from there. The House of Burgesses. Ooh, very nice. House of Burgesses. Ooh, tobacco. Y'all. It's not just plantations. I keep dropping the lids to my markers. It is the plantation system. The entire system is referred to as the plantation system. Hey, Hannah, so do you think that Ethan and Jacob are still on the live stream? Because I feel like they're not. They haven't said anything in a while. It's upsetting. They might lose points because they weren't here. I don't know why I yas to tobacco. I do me. Cotton. Oh, Jacob is still here. Because you guys remember that it was tobacco. You are here. Look at you. Okay, socially they have slavery. Socially also, someone said this earlier, but why was Maryland founded? Case is here. Oh, probably eating dinner with the fam. That's probably true. Case, I'm writing down your team. Actually, not your crazy story about that. Oh, Dylan. Okay, guys, why was Maryland founded? Catholics. Think Mary and the Catholic faith. Mary is a very important part of their faith, and so that's why they named it Maryland. Case cares. Aw, Case does care. Don't take points for Ethan. He was here for a good while. I don't know. He didn't say very much, Hannah. All right. Okay. So, when we look at kind of the scope of what the Southern colonies look like, I won't take points away. This is my really poor drawing of Maryland, and then we have Virginia vaguely on top of that, and then kind of built into that we have North Carolina, which like vaguely I feel like looks like that, and then like South Carolina, which is here, and then like Georgia looks like that, which is ooh, Kate. Oh, Jacob with the win. Jacob with the win. Jacob, you're making me happy. Georgia was for debtors. Georgia was founded for debtors. Y'all came to watch Miss Puckett draw. Like, I draw so well. Place for debt holders to go. Okay. Let's go. Fan. Okay, so right here, Maryland. Why did we say Maryland was founded? Maryland was founded for religious reasons, specifically for what faith? Catholics. Basically, they were facing religious persecution, so they have to create their own colony to kind of escape that. And then under that, we have Virginia. Now, Virginia, what year was Virginia founded? Guys, what year was it founded? Come on, quit being the worst. I am doing this in my kitchen, Hannah. Good call, good call. In 1607, we sailed the open sea for glory, God, and gold, and the Virginia Company. The Virginia Company is founded in 1607. It's not founded in 1607, but they sailed to Virginia in 1607. They come out of Jamestown with raw materials eventually, but it settled for economic reasons. North and South Carolina. There you go, 1607, 1607. Oh my gosh, you're the worst. Jack, I need you to change your stuff. We're not. Oh my gosh. Okay. So then we have North and South Carolina. North and South Carolina are primarily founded to be. North and South Carolina are founded for agricultural reasons. North Carolina, South Carolina. South Carolina actually ends up being more prosperous because it has more natural ports and harbors. So it actually becomes more successful. And then lastly, I'm not doing the Industrial Revolution today, Stephen. I'm not doing the Industrial Revolution today. That'll be later on. The last one we're going to talk about is Georgia. Georgia All-Stars. Crazy. Okay. Now, Georgia was founded by Georgia was founded as a haven for debtors, and it was mostly because nobody was settling down in Georgia, and if you want to stake a claim in your land, and that's what England wanted, because all of these are English colonies. These are all English colonies. These are all English colonies, but the problem is that if you want to stake claim in your land, then you have to figure out how to kind of lay claim to that. Well, the problem is down here was Spanish Florida. Spanish Florida was down here. Because Spanish Florida was down here, and I say down here, is to be fair, it stops here. I don't know why I kept drawing. I'm a really coherent person who speaks. Basically, you want to stake your land. You want to move as many people down south as you can. But the problem is when you're close to the border, you're also possibly closer to conflict. And so people didn't want to move there because it was so close to Spanish Florida. And so it also, because we have the debtors move there, it creates a buffer to Spanish Florida. Because anytime you're on a border, people are going to try to push the lines. Braylon, that was to you, sir. Sir. Okay, couple more things we're going to touch on here. Mercantilism and the triangular trade. All right. Next thing we're going to look at is mercantilism. Oh, the XYZ Affair song. The XYZ Affair song gives me life. It's maybe one of my favorite things that has ever happened to my existence. Mercantilism. Again, guys, I'm going to go for just a little bit longer because I still have things. So real quick, mercantilism, just to kind of hammer it out with you. Mercantilism is mercantilism is where this is the 13 English colonies. This is Britain. Obviously, this is not what Britain looks like, but we're just gonna take care of it. Making money from the mercantilism is making money from the mother country. That's true, but specifically, guys, what does Britain get from the English colonies? What does England get from the colonies? Why is she so content? Why does she want to keep us? Raw materials. Colonies send raw materials to England. Like trees. Also, it's like atomic bomb mushroom clouds. We're just gonna move on from that. Britain sends back. What does Britain send back? Yeah, biggest scam the colonies ever got. So true. They process them. They send back manufactured goods. Now, it was important to note here, guys, don't you just wish that table and chairs was in your house? Crazy. They sent back finished products. Were the colonies allowed to have factories? Were the colonies allowed to have factories? Look at a factory. Was this allowed to happen? Were they allowed to have factories? No, they were not allowed to have factories because that means they wouldn't have to rely on England. They were also not allowed to trade with France or Spain. They were not allowed to trade with England's, not just King George was paranoid, but everybody didn't like it. Africa, they didn't give slaves, but basically slaves were captured by rival tribes. We have kind of also involved in this. We have kind of the triangular trade, which takes place in like many different triangles. There's like, there's this one. It's like all the triangles. They link there, but then it's also all the triangles are happening. But specifically in the triangular trade, we have slaves, rum. And what is rum made from? Hannah, we're almost done, I promise. Slaves, rum, and what else? What is rum made of? Molasses. Okay. We would also, there's also an exchange of like iron products. But the primary trade was slaves, rum, and molasses. That was kind of the big part of this triangular trade. We would send to Africa, they would receive like iron products, which they would use to make weapons. Lastly, just before we go, I want to touch base on this phrase that we've used a million times this year, but I hope you kind of vaguely remember it. Growth of representative government. The growth of representative government. Okay, the growth of representative government. Growth of representative government. Somebody tell me growth of representative government. Give me some things the House of Burgesses. And that was in the Virginia colony. What's another one? Ooh, salutary neglect was a reason for it, which was when the king ignored them. What else? Fundamental orders. Of Connecticut. Ooh, guys, there's another one that I haven't said yet. We kind of forgot about it. It's the one that has to do with the colony of Plymouth and Pilgrims. It was established in the year 1620. It's only salutary neglect if you're displaying like positive, if you're responding positively to it. 1620's Mayflower Compact, which establishes self-government and self-rule. Also, distance from England. That was another thing that's going to cause them to form their own governments. They'll form their own representative institutions. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Guys, this has been fun, but we're going to head out. Any questions about early colonization and exploration you guys got? Ooh, Magna Carta. You guys did talk about the Magna Carta. That was part of their rights as Englishmen. Magna Carta, 1215. Trial by jury, limit the king. Stephen, I'll be live again on Wednesday this week. Jamestown was 1607. That was established by the Virginia Company, Hannah. That's what we talked about earlier. All right, guys, our next live stream will be Wednesday at 7 p.m. All right, guys, and don't forget, you do have homework for U.S. history. You need to do your event packet, pages 4 through 16. Wednesday, right? Very good. All right. See you guys tomorrow. I don't show my face because I don't feel like it. It's the afternoon. All right, bye, guys.